Okay, okay, here we go, Sharon. Right, so let's talk a little bit about you and how long have you been an electrologist?
30 years.
Wow,
30 years,
wow,
maybe 31, something like that.
wow. So where did you do your training?
In New Zealand,
Okay,
in 1989, I think it was. And yeah, did the full beauty therapy course. It was quite intense. It was a different way in which they do it now. But yeah, so electrolysis was a big focus of the course at that point, and you had to pass it to be a beauty therapist, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was massive. And a lot of people got into it because of that,
yeah.
the electrolysis, I
So
think.
did you want to do electrolysis straight away? Was you thinking I'm going to go with this, or did you do all the other stuff and then slip back into electrolysis? How did you take it on as where you are now? How did you get into
Yeah.
that?
Well, because the course encompassed there was no options. You did everything, the lot, electricals, electrolysis, the whole thing. So I think I got into doing beauty therapy. I was inspired by going on a course. I used to work in a pharmacy doing, running the beauty bits and just a shop person. And I went on a course and they spoke about beauty therapy and how you can do this job, which helps people in so many ways because it helps them to look better. And I think they spoke about electrolysis and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I'd like to do. It's not medical, but it's got a slightly, it's not as boring as being a shop person in a pharmacy. Do you know what I mean? Selling a
Yeah,
lipstick or whatever. So that was all really, but the focus of the course was like you had to get all your exams to
yeah,
become what they would consider a full beauty therapist. So
yeah.
yeah, and I mean, electrolysis was just the main thing for me because I love the
Mm.
idea of helping people.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? That's the best part about what we do. Absolutely. So, and how has your career changed over the last 3 to 5 years? How has it changed?
Well, I suppose it's jumped a little bit. I've always worked in the same place, Parkside Beauty Centre. It's now called Parkside Beauty Limited because I own it. But I was therapist, senior therapist, and then manager. And then my boss retired, and I took the business over. So that's changed. Owning a
Wow.
business, not managing the girls, now being their boss, which is a transition. I would say it's been all right. Got a little way to go, I think. Um, and yeah, chairperson of the BIAE, massive.
Wow, absolutely massive to be chairperson. How is that? How
Yeah,
how how are you dealing with it, especially now?
yeah. Well, I don't think you realise it, but I think it strengthens you in your character. I mean, decision making is just well, it's like in business. With the business, you've got to be a better decision maker and things like that. But yeah, I think, confidence, decision making, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I do enjoy the role. Yeah.
Mm. Do you
It
feel
comes with its
you've
challenges.
grown? Do you feel you've grown
Oh,
in confidence?
yes. I've grown as a human being, I think, as a result
Yeah,
of this.
yeah,
And, I am becoming more, I suppose you become more confident in saying what you think is right or what you know and, how you
yeah,
want things to move and things like that. And just, you're just thinking a bit better.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
but yeah.
Fantastic. So I think it's great. And to move that forward, for everyone involved in the BIE, to move that forward is unbelievable. It's a big
One stick on the
task.
CV, innit?
It's great. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Put it on the website. It makes you look
Yeah,
good, if nothing else,
it
eh?
looks
But,
good, and I
it
think
is, no, it is.
it's great to have that because it's a great organisation to be a part of. So it's a
Yes.
very it is wonderful, especially to go on the CV. But it is wonderful. It's
No, it
great to
is.
be a
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about electrolysis in general, and how do you feel the machines have changed over the years? How do you feel things have changed?
Well, of course, because I've started doing it for 30 years. So I started off with a machine that is what would be considered analog, if you think about the way you
Mm,
put your records and whatever. By that, you have I had 2 foot pedals, one for HF, one for galvanic. You had your 2 dials and your timer, and you set your dials. So you put it to, back then those dials went from 0.1 to 1, although 0.1, 1 or 10 is pretty much the same. It's just that machines now go from 10 to 100. Anyway, back in the day, they just went from 0.1 to 1. So you'd put it to 0.2 and you'd set your galvanic, but you used your different foot pedals. So everything was subject to you pressing something and putting something on.
A bit like driving a car. You got to
That's
make
it.
sure.
Pedals.
Wow.
One's for that, one's for that. They moved, then they went into digitized machines, and I suppose then it became just a foot pedal, and the digital machine has a computer in there, and you store the data in that sort of, in the same way that you do in a computer. But you would either press a button, I think some of them have dials, because the Rita Roberts had a dial, but you would set it and you generally have your 1 foot pedal. Again, it's still subject to you being the driver of it. The digital machines, a bit like the analog machines, are still subject to the environment, the client's sensitivity somehow with their sweat glands and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then, of course, now you've got these computerized machines. Not only are they just a computer is very precise in the way that if you put it onto dial number 2, for example, that's what it is, no matter what's happening in the environment, no matter how the client is feeling. The digital and the analog machines would be subject to environmental things sometimes. But also these machines run on these megahertz. So the megahertz are for small devices like our computers, like our machines that we have. And they will be anything from like as low as 6 megahertz to now up to 28 or something. And the megahertz are the power source, and it's the delivery of the current. It's the speed. It enables the current to be delivered incredibly quickly, whereas an analog machine cannot do that. When you put your foot down, the current comes out of the needle and it builds up like that. The digital machine, you put your foot down and it goes like that. And with these computerized machines on these megahertz, you put your foot down and it's already there. Generally it's pretty quick.
So looking at the 2 types of machines, what effect has that had on the effectiveness of hair removal, the industry in itself? What effect has that had from years ago? I was actually taught with the dial as well.
Yeah,
and you had the little thing that bounces like that.
Yes, that's right. It bounced like that as soon as you put your needle in. Don't do that now.
I had one like that. So how do you feel that the effect that's had on the effectiveness of the hair removal?
Well, for a start, you're quicker. So you can do people's legs now. Back in the day, you probably wouldn't consider that. Now you could do someone's legs. You can work within 100. You can work on you can take a hair out in less than a second in total. So the speed is the main thing. Because of the speed that you can use with the current, you don't need to space your workout. So you can treat neighboring hairs that are very, very close together. So the skin reaction is another thing. So speed, the reaction that you get or action that you get on the skin is minimized, and the pain. So when the current is administered very, very quickly, like it can be with these slightly newer machines, it's over before the client has often realized it's still painful. In the end, electrolysis hurts. Painless electrolysis is rubbish electrolysis, I'll just say that. But
I totally agree. You've got to feel it to some degree, man. Unless someone hits you over the head with a saucepan and knocks you right out, so you don't feel it. But hey, I think you're gonna feel it.
Hurts even in these speeds. But with these older machines and even the digital ones, that you still feel that current having to build up, and you have to hold it in long enough for the time for that current to build up. So these ones, so you've got the effect, so that the difference that it's made in electrolysis today is speed. We can now do these, clear someone's face quicker. They move on to other areas. You have more business. The skin, the reaction on the skin, potential of less scarring, also less less action on the skin so the client can cover it up and just carry on with their
Yeah.
lives, and
Yeah.
the pain factor.
Yeah, it's slightly reduced because of the non-building, because it's happened so quickly.
Yeah, still, yeah, it does all the things in the follicle, but it just doesn't, you know, have a nasty effect on the skin so much.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you today.
You're
for
welcome.
having a lovely chat with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you're planning on doing, and I hope and I hope your knees get really better really soon.
Oh, can't believe it.
Yeah.
Gosh. Anyway, oh